Hello and welcome to episode 140 with the Switch Up. I am joined by Safiya for this week's weekly recap. How are you doing today, Safiya?
Hi, Rick. Hi, community. I'm doing well today. It's an honor to be here co-hosting just with you. Normally, it's just you, me, Maddie, or me, Maddie, and a special guest. So feeling a bit of responsibility today,
I
co-hosting
love
with you.
it.
But I'm
I love it.
ready.
Well,
Yeah,
that's great because I tell you what, Maddie's on vacation this week and she deserves it
she
big time.
does.
But she was on the chat this morning. So I
Maddie's
think
never completely off. I feel like you and her are kind of the same. You're offline, but you're still checking in.
down with the sickness. So
Not
Maddie,
surprised.
please be doing
Log
the
off.
vacation. Yes. Yes. She's
She's gonna
just as
comment on this and she'll be like, "Hi guys."
yeah, right. She is just as bad as me. Same deal.
Yeah.
We're recording on Wednesday. We'll push it late on Thursday, calling it a Friday. But there was a lot, and Safiya did the curation this week. So, you ready to jump into it?
Ready to jump in. Let's get into it.
That's my calendar. That's
Oh,
scary.
not
You
your
don't want to see
calendar.
that. No,
And
no.
who's new? What's going
No, not yet, not yet. Well, friends, I'm on one monitor when I
on? Oh
travel now,
gosh.
so it's risky stuff. But
It
what's up
happens.
first? It looks like you got this one.
Yeah. So our first post today is from Carrie's son, who just want to add he's been super active on the community hub lately. Carrie's a Veeam Vanguard, but I don't know if he's heading to legend status as well, but he's been super active recently, which is great. Carrie shared a failure that he had when trying to restore a file on his Linux server. He was unable to obtain IP addresses for hosting his Ubuntu server. So he takes us through how he solved the issue. As you scroll down, and there seems to be a bit of surprise and confusion in the comments from Chris and Shane of how the solution came to be with what he needed to install. So, wanting to get your thoughts, Rick, on Carrie's issue and the solution that he came to. And do you
Yeah.
think it makes sense, or are you as surprised as Rick and Shane? Not Rick, Chris and Shane.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So file level recovery in Linux, if you as the viewer have never done this, chances are you will learn something every time you do it. And, obviously Veeam is running in Windows, at least with some of these screenshots. And so what he's actually doing here is mounting the restore point, but it didn't work, right? So if you look at this host name, this is what is the mount appliance, I believe, that is doing this, right? And so when you do it that way, you can actually go a little bit more granular for like a file transfer versus the browser, right? So I think that's what he's going at. So like this is more of the browser versus something like a file transfer, which is what he's doing. But it's an interesting point here that you will always find different networking with what you're doing. And I think it's interesting, that Shane and Chris have identified that that is one interesting way to do it. I've never
Yeah.
done it that way. But yeah, first of all, hats off Carrie for all the activity and the creativity here because
Yes.
this is the type of thing, believe it or not, that I look at and I'm like, well, what else could we do if we put Samba on the mount? It could be some gateway to other things. So thank you
Mhm.
so much for sharing, Carrie.
Yes. Okay. So we're heading into the script library with Albert, aka the admin. Albert shared one of his scripts for finding where your Veeam agent is running in the Active Directory domain. So hopefully it'll help you find your information easier. He shares that you can adjust your script to your needs, and Albert encourages people to modify and improve it to their liking. So Rick, how do you feel about this script from scrolling through it?
Well, I'm also part mesmerized. Is this Albert T from
Yes,
Australia?
that's Albert T.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
You
Oh,
never
well,
match the name to the person.
no, it's hard when you have
Yeah.
like you meet the individual in real life and you see their name, email, and now you have an avatar and a nickname. It's hard to put it all
Yeah.
together.
And he's usually on the forums, not really
Yes,
much the community hub.
right,
So,
right.
yeah.
But I think this is actually great because where is the Veeam agent in the domain? That is actually a very, very helpful piece of information. I'm going to give you a light for that one.
Deserves a like.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing this, Albert. I think this is super on the script itself. And I'm no like I say I'm looking through the PowerShell script like I'm a PowerShell guru.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm actually not looking for any. I'm not seeing any gross inefficiencies. Right? It's a
Okay.
pretty solid script. Right? So that's great. So thank you so much for sharing, Albert.
Thanks, Albert. Yeah, last piece of post new news for this week comes from Derek. Derek shared a new error he recently faced. He was running into some issues with the Veeam agent, and he researched to come to a few solutions, and none of them worked. So he goes through at least, I think, four solutions that ended up not working. He keeps saying no dice, which I've never heard before until I read this post. I guess it means like you came to no resolution. Um, but just wanting to go through all of these solutions he ended up coming to, and your thoughts and what ended up finally working for him.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. Any admin here we go. I know where it was, right around here.
Hmm.
Any admin knows that running out of storage space is not fun. And then over the years, we get into resizing drives or combining them, and some of the things that like Windows can do with drives. There's going to be interesting corner cases that come up. And this one right here, shadow space set to 20% of free disk space. That one has gotten me over the years too. And again,
Hmm.
as you scale and expand drives, these are things you forget about. And 20% for shadow is actually pretty generous, right? Because most enterprise monitoring tools will think about maybe a smaller percentage or a number of gigabytes or terabytes, which may not add up to 20%. So, anyways, just setting that up and it's good to go. Now, the one thing I'll also highlight here is, that's really pretty small, right? That's pretty small, but it ran out of space, and once it reset, it was good. So, I've hit this a couple of different ways, and this is one of the oldies, but a goodie. But
Okay.
thank you for writing this one up, Derek.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
All right,
So
we stuck to the plan. We didn't break the rule.
we did not break the rules. We were going to. I sent like maybe six
Yeah,
recommendations, and we
yeah.
had to cut it down. But we're on limited time. Rick is on a work trip.
There we go. And then now we're going to go to special department, and
Special department.
this one's looking pretty cool. What's this?
Yes, so next Thursday in Prague, Czech Republic, VUG Czech Republic is back and they're hosting an in-person event. It'll be a few hours worth of content from the leader, Tonda, and some Veeam speakers are going to be there as well. I think Edwin's going to be there, Boris will be there. Nicola's going to give a little bit of a presentation about the Veeam community, and Pure Storage, who is allowing us to use their space, will also be speaking. Adam Mazus, who we all
Hmm.
know, he's pretty active in our community and recently won the hackathon. Just a
Oh,
shout
that's
out
right.
there.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
on the team. Yeah.
yeah, he was. So that'll be a great event. Just turned to user group United Kingdom.
Well, my translator, the browser, that's not cool. Let
No,
me
it's
change
not
that back.
cool.
So this is what it was supposed to say, but the
And then
browser translate. Let's just say the internet isn't always
isn't always right.
right.
Czech
Yeah,
Republic
yeah,
equals UK.
yeah. Let's
Makes
go to
sense.
let's go to Welsh. No, is that any help? No, that's not any help. But
Oh,
we'll sort it out. But it is definitely a I can read this a little bit better. No, but imagine it in Czech. That's what it is. But
imagine it in Czech. Yes. So if anyone will be in town is around Prague next Thursday evening, I know a few people who will be around in Prague next Thursday evening. So please join us. It'll be a great event and I'm really looking forward to it.
yeah, indeed. And um I would check this page to be the more accurate information. I've heard that Pure Office is legit, so that's great.
Yeah.
Um Next up, special department. This is a good one.
Oh my gosh, back to Carrie. It's the Carrie show in some
Maybe.
way. So Carrie posted yesterday was the Veeam on Resiliency Summit, and some new announcements were made. So he asked the community, "What's new and what's your favorite feature in 12.1?" So Carrie shares his favorite, which is the Integrated Threat Center dashboard, and a few others commented. So I just thought we could scroll through and see what other people were liking.
Yeah, so I got, let's see here. Chris is liking the SIM integration, makes sense. Threat center is a nice
A lot
stabs,
of love for the
Philippe.
security features I've noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, look forward to meeting you this week. Mark, next
Mm-hmm.
week. Sure, backup, data lag. That. Ooh, Mark, you're in my head because I have a very special segment that I'm going to go into related to that just next. And then
It's almost
Christian
like we planned
Emerson.
this.
Maybe, but Mark walked into something there. That's good.
Yeah.
Um, actually, I'll hit you up with that, Matt.
Yeah, reply.
We expect it to be GA this quarter. All right. Now I know that's not very specific, but we
Yeah.
are.
Bit
Uh,
broad.
well, I will say we are in beta now,
Okay.
and the next milestone is a release candidate, and then GA. So that's where we are.
Nice.
Cool. So
Looking
that
forward to
rounds
it.
out special department. And Safiya, I made a promise on the VMon Resiliency Summit. I don't know if you caught
Okay.
it, but my promise was during the recap, up
Mm-hmm.
until and maybe even after GA, I'm going to do some demos of 12.1 additional to what we did at the VMon Resiliency Summit. So are you ready to jump
Okay.
into that?
Let's get into the demo.
All right. So I mentioned that we are in beta 1, or the beta, I should say. It is actually kind of a beta. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a normal beta 1 because we actually parted out some of the different capabilities for standalone betas. But I do need to hit my multi-factor authentication here. The reason why I didn't turn it on initially is because it would turn off on me. So let me hit this up. Got my code ready on my phone. And if you haven't used the multi-factor authentication, friends, this is what it does. I'll go in big zoom here. So I got this code here. I don't know if it's focal enough,
Yeah, the
but
670.
yeah, but it'll change here in a second. It changes every
Mm-hmm.
minute. Yeah, so 670,025. Now that was a V12 feature. Okay.
Okay.
12.1 has it as well, but a lot of people may have not implemented it. Super easy. I use the Authly application for my OTP, my one-time password. So if you're not using that, please check that out. All right, so this is 12.1. Let me prove it to you. 12.1. All right. So what I
Proof.
wanted to show you, Mark was talking about his favorite feature of the kind of just a scan only.
Mm-hmm.
So that is basically in here, sure backup scan. So I think in the VMon Resiliency Summit, I showed this backup job here. So I have this name of a sure backup job called randomizer scan. And the most important part is this option right here, backup verification and content scan only, or this full recoverability. So right now, today in Veeam, the only option is what is selected in green, full recovery, where it fully runs everything. What I want to show you today is something kind of cool. So I'm not going to break this, but what I am going to do is I am going to, oh, that's interesting. Can't clone sure backup jobs, but I'm going to make a new one. How about that? Let's
How
make a
about that?
new,
It's
yeah, let's
live.
make,
Anything could happen.
yeah,
Live now.
well, I've,
It's recorded,
we
but
recorded. Oh, we'll come back to that too. You're also walking into something. Okay, sure, backup. Yara, this is what I want to show that's different. Okay, so this is that option. Do you want to do that full recovery or backup verification? So um, let's go ahead and do content scanned only. And I don't know, Safiya, if you saw those contexts switch, you see that
hmm
on the left? Okay, so that's how um, the type of job. will change the options you get based on that. So replication jobs are actually have that now if you were select seeding and mapping, etc. So now I'm going to add some backup jobs to link it to. I know that this is an easy one, right? So I'm just going to take those. And let's also take this one. All right. Now, it doesn't matter which image-based backup jobs we're talking about, but I'm just taking a bunch. And what I'm going to do is do a randoms. I like the randomizer. Now, the randomizer is optional, but
Okay.
having talked to people about how much they actually do share backup and stuff, just having it random is actually pretty attractive. Let's just go with two at a time, two machines, two at a time. Let's do that. But it can scale, but that's not as important as what I'm about to show you now. Now, what's really cool is the content analysis scan can be in this green box looking for threats, malware, ransomware, those types of things. And that's really based on our secure restore technology. So there's a number of integrated anti-malware programs, Windows Defender, the Symantec product, ESET, Kaspersky, Bitdefender, and there's probably one, I can't remember. There's a total of five. Um, I can't remember the fifth. Maybe that is five. But anyways, there's five. And you can always get into the XML to pull in anything that also could be exposed through a command line. Okay, so that's pretty cool. But what I want to highlight is that we also can do this with a Yara rule. Now, the Yara rules, and we'll have more information on that soon because we're going to launch an additional area in the community where you can get some of this stuff. We can actually do, for example, watch this. I have in this, I have like some top ransomware threats identified here. Like if I'm
Hmm.
specifically looking for those threats, like my security team told me, hey, we have information that one of those is in the mix.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm going to go somewhere different. I'm going to go down here and I thought it started with C. Yeah. I made a YAR rule that's looking for any credit card data. Okay. And the thought would be that's personally identifiable information. Or in the US, we have social security cards and social security numbers. If I find those number patterns, then where they're not supposed to be, that's pretty interesting. And what I want to highlight about this capability is you can stack them up. So I'm going to finish this here in a second. But you could have the anti-malware scans and then a Yara rule for some of your business functions, like credit card numbers where they're not supposed to be, or
Hmm.
social security numbers where they're not supposed to be. So the one big difference that I was talking to some partners as well about this last week is Yara rules, and just like that, I have a job, and I'll go ahead and run it. Yara rules are when you know what you're looking for. This is super important. Like I'm looking for XYZ ransomware, or I'm looking for credit card numbers or social security numbers where they shouldn't be. That's a very interesting kind of set of rules where um, Yara is basically if you know what you're looking for. So I'm going to do a little quick demo like that every recap all the way up until GA. Let's see if that helps kind of
Yeah.
get some interest. But we're
Something to
going to
look
go
forward to, and it's really useful. Oh,
Veeam
you're
on
muted for.
resilience.
Okay.
Oh,
No,
I'm
you're
back.
back. You're back. We were
Hey,
having some mic issues before the recording, and
yeah, sorry about that.
it's
But
okay.
speaking of 12.1 and Veeam on Resiliency Summit, which I was happy to demo some of that, but we had a couple of people catch some interesting things. So Christoph, big shout out to Christoph Pope. He says, "Hey, did he just clone himself?"
You are
It-
everywhere, Rick. I'm telling you, we're all over that page. I just had to include this in. And I saw that
yeah,
comment from Sean Flowers. He said, I almost got into the wrong session by clicking on the picture of Rick. He's everywhere.
yeah. So that
Just
is
an
kind of
army of
funny.
you. Um,
So the breakouts we did pre-record and put
yes, of
together
course.
some segments of the stuff ahead of time. that is actually hilarious when you think about it that way. So Christoph, Sean, we almost got to make the keen eye badge. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think that might be getting a little bit too crazy with the badges. But
We haven't done badges in a while. I think it's about time, you
yeah, how
know.
about the eagle eye? You know, the
The
Veeam's
eagle eye.
eye.
We do
Yeah.
have community reviewer, people who like notice
Hmm.
sketchy things, but I don't know if
Yeah.
Rick being everywhere is
I don't know if
is
it
a
really
valid
applies to funny
reason.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Christoph, Sean, good shout. Yeah, that was funny.
Maybe the Rick badge somehow will get you incorporated
Ooh,
into a badge.
hey now we're
It's
talking.
about time.
All right, so now we're going to switch over to who's new, and thank you for preparing this, Safiya.
Of
Good,
course.
solid list.
Yeah,
Nice. I think
definitely 96 this week.
nice. Got some good-looking names in there. I'm scanning to see if I recognize anybody. Oh, and one random thing. I really like that people can use some of their kind of native characters, like in that example. I think that's cool
Mhm.
that we can do that on the community. It might be tricky to start with that, make it hard to mention another member when it if that was like the first letter, but I think that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
But
let's see.
into
Coolest
the
username.
coolest users. This
Now,
is so hard to pick. I
but
do
you
this
do it all by
I
yourself.
I don't know how you used to do it, Rick. It's so hard to select which ones are the coolest because it's completely,
Completely subjective.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I chose four for this week. Bob's Backups. It
I
just reminded
love
me of like
that.
Bob's Burgers, if anyone's a fan of that show.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And I just
funny.
thought it was cute. Dahoov 31, Fries IT, and DJ Head for the coolest users this week.
That's cool. And then the Alfred's pick badge is going to
Harmo hits?
Harma hits.
Harmo hits?
Harmohits.
Like
Let us know.
Harmony hits? I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
let us know, Harmo hits. What's behind your name? What's the reason? What's the story?
I think that's
But
cool stuff. But
welcome all.
yeah, definitely welcome all. Safiya works hard to profile that. And what do we do when we profile? Just so you know, we look for employees and we'll mark them as employees. We also just want to see who comes in, right? And
Yeah,
it's we track the numbers, we look at that, so that's cool stuff. But thank you so much for doing that for
no problem. It's
not
always
just
fun.
not just to recap you're on, friends. She does it every week. So,
Yeah.
but speaking of week, I have no idea what we're gonna do next week.
The possibilities are endless for next week. Maybe we tell the community what we're doing next week for those who aren't
uh
aware.
yeah, so we mentioned Carrie's son twice today. He's
Hmm.
a Veeam Vanguard and he's rocking the community hub. The Vanguards, the legends. So Albert is a legend, one that we called V
Derek
admin.
too.
And Eric, oh goodness, yes. Well,
We just
called a
called the
lot of.
V100 today. Yeah.
There you go. Collectively, we have a collection of programs that we call the Veeam 100, which are Vanguards, Legends, and Veeam MVPs. MVPs are the ones that are employees that kind of
Yes.
behave like Vanguards and Legends. And we're doing the Veeam 100 Summit next week in Prague with R&D. Super exclusive experience. I can't wait. And we'll have so many of the names we called today there.
Hmm.
Mark Boothman will be there, so I'm really excited for it. It's the highlight
Yeah.
of the year for our community programs. And so we've done previous recaps. I've taken this camera, set it up in the room, and
Had
oh,
community
reminds me,
members on.
I better bring the microphone
Yeah,
because I don't
bring
I don't want to
everything.
pass this from person
No,
to person to
no.
talk. Yeah.
No, that would be horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, like last year you had Maurice and Jeff. And you know what's
Yeah.
crazy, Rick, is last year, this time was when I was interviewing for this position now, was
That
literally
was I
this
think
time
I think it was like the first time I spoke with you on the phone
was
was
Summit.
the Monday night or such of the summit. I pulled
Yeah,
myself out for something, and isn't that funny? Yeah,
full
a year
circle.
ago. Yeah, so we'll have the opportunity to swipe some of the talent locally there to feature them on the recap, and
Of
we might
course.
go different. We might not feature community hub content. We might just have like some stuff to share. I hope we can, you know, push out some social media videos too. But looking forward to it, and you as well.
It'll
I
be
mean,
fun.
you've been to Prague, but Summit's a
I've
little bit
been, but
different.
this will be
Yeah,
my first summit, so
yeah.
looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me here, Safiya, Safiomo, Safi, whatever.
Safiyomo,
Yeah, there you go. Thank
whatever
you so.
people call me.
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much for joining. And who knows what next week we'll have, but we'll do something, and we'll see you next week on the
It'll
recap.
be special. Bye, everyone.